re-evaluate your ideal of the perfect neighborhood. If at first it doesn't seem as elegant as what you've aspired to, it may have other things going for it. It may be in good repair and may prove to be a good investment in the long run. Take a closer look. It might still be, even though more modest, it might be a practical home to maintain. It may have good resale value. And even though it's not as grand and pretty as you had expected, in the long run, it may be the best investment. Brick versus frame. And although I know that most people in Detroit prefer brick to frame, there is nothing inferior about a frame home. In fact, beneath the facade of whether it's brick or frame, they're both constructed the same way. And in fact, if you look at upscale neighborhoods, there are frame homes in upscale neighborhoods. So a good investment might be to buy a frame home in a predominantly brick neighborhood. Purchase a modest structure that's in good repair over a dilapidated but once elegant one, just because you're excited with the aesthetics of it. Location, 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 as the old adage goes. Consider the least appealing property that's situated in the best locale. You can improve the property, but not necessarily the neighborhood. And talk to the neighbors. If at first they seem a little suspicious of you, that at least means that they care about what's going on next to the property. They're the ones who can give you the best insight into what's going on in the neighborhood and into the condition of the house itself, because they've probably been inside of it. Make sure that you can realistically afford to buy, renovate, and maintain the property. Add up all the hidden costs, like the current year's taxes, and based on your present income and savings, set an achievable schedule that meets your budget. Anticipate that the final cost of your renovation will probably exceed your estimate by a third. When buying an occupied structure, try to resist judging the people who live there based on their record of payment. That may not be reflective of their character. And if you can do things on an amicable basis, it'll make the transition of them moving out of there go far more smoothly. Try to take out an insurance policy on the property before you order the occupant to leave the property, so that there's no potential of them setting fire to your building. If you're buying a vacant structure, you should try to have electricity connected as soon as you can, so that will power up an alarm system so that you can keep vandals out. In a segment we're going to call Let the Buyer Beware, I want to give you a short punch list of things you should do before you enter into the purchase of this property. First of all, you should know the annual amount of the taxes. The tax rate on the parcel you selected might be too hard for you to sustain. Your purchase may be canceled. Be aware of that. Although you have no recourse, you will receive a full refund of your price in a timely fashion. There's an interval between the time when you successfully bid on the property and when the deed arrives by mail. In that time, you risk a total loss of the property should it be burned or demolished by the city, which is why you should check with the city to see if there's a demolition order on the property and comply with the city's wishes so that they don't tear it down in that time. If you're buying on reliance of the promise of funds from a third party, say a friend or a relative, remember, if they renege and they don't come through, you're going to forfeit your entire deposit and you'll be banned from the auction for 3 years. Although you bought the parcel with a low tax rate, under Proposal A, the tax rate will be subject to being reassessed in the year that you bought it, and it may be raised substantially. As unfair as it may seem, there are reasons why a sale can be canceled. I'm going to explain some of those to you right now. The first is improper service. That means that the former owner wasn't notified as to when their court hearing was due for that foreclosure. That can happen because the county didn't adequately investigate to find their current address, etc. It could be canceled because of a clerical error. Sometimes they name the wrong property in foreclosure. It could be canceled because information is brought forth that the property is under the control of probate court because a person had died and the case has not been settled yet. The property may be withdrawn from the roster at the request of another unit of government which has plans for the use of that property. In any of the 4 cases I've mentioned above, you will be entitled to a full refund, and the county has a good record of refunding people's money in a timely manner.